Dino Melaye, welcome to Sahara Reporters.
A pleasure.
You're not a stranger to controversy. First, Dimeji Bankole, and now you're taking on your state governor. Can you give us a background to this?
Dimeji Bankole was not actually the first case I took on, especially in the House of Representatives.
Yeah.
I was responsible for more than 40 motions, out of which 36 are all anti-corruption motions. Famous among them is my motion that led to the revocation of the sale of Ajakuta Steel. I also moved the motion that led to the revocation of the sale of Delta Steel Alaja. I moved the motion about the airport runway that was 164 billion and eventually cancelled by the president. Moved the motion against the construction of Abuja Kubwa Airport Road that the minister is just making some revelations about. So I moved that motion 2 years ago to say that contract was inflated with over 100 billion.
Well, what we find surprising is that despite all the fact that your anti-corruption claims and stance, people still say Dino Melaye is not free from corruption himself.
How? I've never handled any contracts in my life. I've never handled any imprest whatsoever, apart from being a member of the House of Reps. I mean, how am I free? I mean, corruption.
You would admit you're a wealthy politician, wouldn't you? You have flashy cars.
I wouldn't say I'm a wealthy politician.
You live in a very big
I wouldn't say I'm
house.
a wealthy politician, but at the same time, I'm not a waster. I've invested well, let me just put it that way. But I'm not living above my means, because I would say that the Dimeji Bankole and indeed the federal government, maybe the only thing they are yet to find out about me is where my placenta was buried. So if I have any skeleton in my cupboard or I've done any shady deal, I'm sure by now it would have been out.
How would you now the case is falling like a pack of cards?
I would not say it's falling like a pack of cards. We instituted 3 cases against Dimeji Bankole. This is just 1 out of the 3. And even this one particularly, if you go through the media today, you notice that they've appealed that particular judgment. And I want to be optimistic that the appeal will pull through.
How would you react to your loss to what people describe a political new person in the game? You lost your seat to TJ.
My election was manipulated in favor of the PDP, rather, not that I lost. Because we had a primary, I won the primary, the primaries were counted, I won clean and clear. And after counting, they now said 6 of my votes were avoided. I've never seen where that happened anywhere in the world. And voiding 6 of my votes now give him advantage of 3.
Well, it's a surprise. Nigerian politicians were in the PDP and you found it very easily. You conveniently moved to the ANPP.
Yeah, because just like Christians convert to Islam, to Christianity, and Christians convert to Islam. Actually, the PDP I thought was a smooth road. I took that road and I found out that there were a lot of potholes. And driving 100 kilometers down the line, I found out that not only potholes, there were hollows. And I don't want to travel on such a road, so I had to leave the party. More importantly, when the National Working Committee of the party asked for a rerun in my election, when they knew that I won the election, and the National Working Committee, which is the apex body of the party, sat and found out that I won and appealed to me and said there should be a rerun. But because the governor and a host of others were against me, I went home for the rerun never took place, and they submitted it off whether I had to submit somebody's name.
With your performance in the National Assembly, you've listed lots of anti-corruption bills you've passed. Why should your state governor be against your...
Basically, Nigerians do not appreciate the truth, especially people like my governor who believe that I could become a problem, especially crime investigation, especially believing that I champion anti-corruption struggle. And even the president and so many others believe that I will be a problem to them in the House of Reps. Even when I was in court, they all intervened. They all manipulated the process. But I want to say that will not deter me, because my philosophy in life is that in an unjust society, silence is a crime. And I'm not deterred, I'm not discouraged, I'm not disillusioned, I'm not disenchanted. I will continue to do that which I believe is best for the people of this country. We'll continue to be the voice of the voiceless and speak for those who can't speak for themselves.
To your credit, the protest that took off in Abuja after the removal of oil subsidy, you moved first onto the street, the registrar signing. How were you able to pull that off?
Yeah, basically I knew that it would be difficult to bring labor out, that it's going to be pretty difficult to bring labor out. So I devised a strategy of eating up the polity so that labor must respond to clarion calls. So basically, the subsidy was removed on the first. I was not even around. I flew back on the second, and that same afternoon I got a chair and table and sent message out through social network media and invited people to the Euro School to come and sign and register. And unfortunately, I was arrested and detained and kept together with Boko Haram suspects. And eventually, when I was released, I came back to the same spot to continue the struggle. And we were on it for a week before the pressure came on the NLC to join.
Some critics say that is typical Dino taking advantage. How will you react to that?
Anyway, I don't know what I'm taking advantage of. Maybe they should also take advantage and then end up in a detention camp where you have armed robbers and Boko Haram people, Boko Haram suspects, to test what it feels like. And I'm not doing it for the first time. I was incarcerated during the Abacha's government. I was incarcerated during Babangida's government. I'm not new to calling for ameliorative and palliative measures where necessary. I live in a milieu where basically everybody knows that this is what I do. I was a primary school head boy. I was a secondary school head boy. Even my secondary school, I was the first to organize a riot. And as a university student, I even took my university to court. So anybody speaking like this, I want to believe is speaking from the part of government, or rather those who do not believe in this positive championing, positive cause, rather. So I want to believe anyone speaking like that, they are speaking from, or rather, negative mind. Let me put it that way. I would say they are product of misinformation from people of inordinate ambition, capricious manifestation, and even reaction formation. But basically, I will continue to be me, and I will do that which is right. I will continue to speak the truth, not mighty knows us is God. And my activities in the House should tell that even as a member of the PDP, I moved motions that were against the People's Democratic Party. When I started questioning the Meji Bankole on corruption, I was called upon by the national chairman, secretary, and the entire executive of the PDP to drop the case. And I refused to drop the case. I moved a motion against President Musa Umaru Yar'Adua, as he then was, when he went to borrow 300 billion from the World Bank. I moved the motion against him on the floor as the president and the leader of my party. So anyone saying that for whatever reason I'm trying to make this noise or trying to raise these issues, I want to believe it's from very myopic and porous minds.
The first subsidy did not go back to 65 naira. Yes. So what's all the...
The truth of the matter is that the battle is not over. What I would rather say is that we are strategizing, and I would not want to reveal what our strategies are going to be on a media forum like this. But I want to tell you that it is not over yet, and by the special grace of God, we're still getting back to 65 naira.
I was with Peter Esele, the TUC president in Port Harcourt, and some of the vibes I'm getting from him is that the strike actually failed because politicians, quote and unquote, came in and tried to...
I'm sorry to cut you short. I'll tell you that is not true. That is basically not true. I was with Peter Esele and the national president of the NLC throughout this period, and incessantly on daily basis they continue to assure Nigerians that they will not betray Nigerians, that it is 65 naira or nothing. In fact, they told us that they were not going to negotiate or speak with anyone. But as I speak to you right now, they before they embarked on strike, they tied the strike to the neck of the NLC. But when they were calling it off unceremoniously, they didn't call a neck meeting. It was not a full neck meeting. And I want to say that Esele was with us wearing t-shirts, but on the day he announced to Nigerians that the strike was called off, he was dressed like a bride. From afar, you mistake him for a bank empty, immaculately attired and cosmopolitanly fashioned to announce this disaster to Nigerians. So I wouldn't say I don't have celestial powers to read people's mind or to know the future or to know what happened. But I want to tell you that they behaved less than expected.
Would you use the word compromised?
That's why I'm saying I would not know. I would say compromise, depending as a relative term. Yes, I'll say they were compromised somehow. I wouldn't say if they were induced or not. I wouldn't say if they were, but somehow they betrayed Nigerians.
Tell us about the candlelight memorial service that you heard. What was that about?
Yeah, basically we felt that we should not just concern ourselves about protest and all that. We lost our brothers, our sisters, our fathers and mothers, uncles and aunties in Kano. And I think it's the first time we are losing that number, that magnitude. to the Boko Haram bombing, and I felt it was time for Nigerians to come together and pray, because I believe very much in the efficacy of prayers, and I believe that bringing Nigerians together, the Christian and Muslims, under one canopy and umbrella, to pray for this country, so that those who need to die for Nigeria to survive should die. Those who need to become handicapped for Nigeria to become great again should go handicapped. So we actually prayed for the peace of this country, we prayed for the leadership of this country, we prayed for stability, and we actually prayed for the enemies of this country. Because I want to say that there's a deliberate plan to cause secession in this country. There's a deliberate plan to divide Nigeria. There's a deliberate plan for some people they want to become independent. And I want to say Nigeria will continue to remain a united, strong, reliable country. So we prayed for the unity of this country, we prayed for the togetherness of this country, and also prayed that those working on breaking this country should rather die.
The Kogi State controversy, you've gone to court again against the former governor.
Sure.
What's that case about?
Basically, as a former member of the House of Representatives, as a Democrat, as a Kogite, and as a very high chief in Kogi State, I owe the people the responsibility of having a just and egalitarian society, of having a society devoid from criminals and people I call financial scavengers and economic cankerworms. Unfortunately, I discovered that the former governor of the state, in the person of Alhaji Ibrahim Idris, have siphoned very seriously the resources of our state, and for personal aggrandizement, for personal benefit. And I went into a research, and I found that he bought over 7 hotels in Abuja, bought over 6 hotels in Lagos, bought hotels abroad. And I want to say, okay. And I went back to his code of conduct form.
And those hotels are linked to his...
They either bought directly in his name or
true.
bought the name of his sons or his cronies. And we can link it up. And these hotels are all scattered all over. In fact,
and you realize you're making very serious allegations.
And the one in Lagos was bought for about 3 billion. Former Excellence Hotel, now Ital Hotel. And after buying it for 3 billion, spent about another $1 billion to put it in shape. You know, he bought over Gubabi Hotel in Abuja here. They just built the Somerset Hotel in Metama opposite 212. They bought over Primark Hotel. They bought over Asokoro Suits. They bought over another Dreamland Hotel in Jabi, and all over. And the Ibro Hotel is now transformed after reconstruction and remodernization to what he now refers to as Grand Ibro Hotel. And we knew who he was before he became a governor. He declared his asset before becoming a governor. For God's sake, you cannot loot the people of Kogi State. Today, Kogi State, according to the last CBN bulletin, describes Kogi State as the second poorest state in Nigeria.
How can a governor from such a poor state with little resources and take money from the coffers? Because
there's nothing to show on the ground. It's done nothing. Once they get federal allocation, they loot it, they steal it. Because apart from the federal allocation, they always get what is this largesse they get from the federal government in the name of the excess crude oil. This is money not planned for. It's not part of the budget of the state. It's not part of what you are getting from the federal allocation. It's just a dash, just a waste.
And we have the EFCC.
Yeah, we have the EFCC, and I've actually written a petition that I'm submitting to the EFCC on Monday. The EFCC, the ICPC, and the Code of Conduct. And I published the photographs of all the hotels in Nigerian dailies, and I signed it. And for me to append my signature to it, I must have done some level of research. If you think it's libelous, or you think I've accused him wrongly, or I've blackmailed him, or rather, sorry, it is a defamation of character, then let him sue me too.
You were in the same political party.
Yes, we used to be in the same political party before. I would rather say once I was blind, but now I can see.
And this is not politics of bitterness.
How?
You're not doing it because you're not framing allegations against him because you didn't get the ticket.
As a legislator, I know the consequences of framing allegations, so I now want to tread that grounds. I would do that to my father if he also behaved in the same manner. And it's not the only one I'm doing that to. Anyway, I've done that to Dimeji, I've done that to NCC, the former executive secretary of NCC, I've done that to the former FCT minister. So it's not just about him, it's about doing the right thing. Not minding who's us, it's God, not minding who is concerned.
How would you access the current president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan?
I want to say that Nigeria to me is like a vehicle being driven by a drunken driver.
That's the precedent.
That's my description.
What's the future for?
No direction.
What's the future for Dino Melaye?
Yeah, when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. But the truth of the matter is that we'll continue to be active politically and otherwise for the next 40 years. 2015? Surely there will be something, but I don't know what it is yet.
Mr. Melaye, thank you for speaking to that.
The pleasure is always mine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.